Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about what I call blues ear training. And it starts out fairly straightforward and fairly simple. I want you to be able to hear the different notes of the minor pentatonic scale of whatever blues we're in. Today we're going to do a blues in G. So our minor pentatonic scale is going to be in that fingering that everybody knows pretty much, or at least it's the first one everybody seems to learn. Learn how to hear the different notes on top of the different chords that are going on, because that's really what you're aiming at when you're improvising, that you want to be able to have an effect by landing on a note and being just the right note on that chord, and the next chord coming up, it will change. So the very first thing that you need to do and you need to be aware of is there's a chord and you play a note in your soloing in your pentatonic scale, and it has a certain sound on top of that chord. I'm using the SuperEgo Plus on my pedal board. It's an Electro Harmonix pedal that has a hold pedal in it and a bunch of different effects as sort of like two pedals in one. And when I play a chord and I engage the hold, I get this kind of sound where the chord just stays hovering in the air. And that way I can play different notes on top of it, and I will see what does that note sound like on the chord that I'm playing just now. So I'm going to go through the different chords. We have a blues in G, so just being in this position, I would have a G7, I would have a C7, and I will have a D7. And this is a good idea to just listen to this lesson, and even if you're not too much into playing the blues, this will give you a first insight into what ear training is really all about, that you hear the notes on top of the chords or inside the chords, whichever way you want to put it, and you get a feel for that. So I will play the G7 chord, I will hold it with the hold pedal, and then I can play, I'll start in the middle here, I start on this G. You don't need to know the names of the notes, you just need to know what do they sound like on top of the different chords. So here's my G7 again, and I play G, 5th fret on the D string. I play the chord again, I hold it again, and I play the next note in the pentatonic scale. See, this is a totally different sound. This note on top of the chord. I play the chord again, and here's the next one. And then I play the chord again. Here's my note on the 3rd fret on the B string. And one more time. Here's my chord, and I play this note. 6th fret on the B string. If I go one further, I'm on the octave. So there's no, even though it sounds a little different because it's in a higher octave, it's the same note that I played down here. 5th fret on the D string is the same as 3rd fret on the high E string. They're both G's. Okay, so if I play this chord again, a little softer, and here's my high G on top of that. I can do one more to finish out this fingering, and I have this high note here. Okay, so I'm not concerned with you knowing the names of the notes. You know the chord that we're on, and you need to start learning to hear the notes. And then find your own. I have different students, they write them all out. They say, this is really sounding good, this is kind of this is not so bad, and this one is really bad sounding on top of the chord. So you can count out, what is it? Is it the 3rd? Is it the 5th? Is it the 7th? Is it part of the chord or not? All that comes later on. The first thing that I want you to do is just listen and hear what is the note sounding like on top of the chord. Because now in the blues in G, I go to C7, my 4 chord. And I play the same notes. I start again, 5th fret on the D string. Here's my C7 again. 3rd fret on the G string. Again a C7. One more C7. Here I'm on the 3rd fret on the B string. The 6th fret on the B string. So again, that was the whole pentatonic scale we played from. Now for the D7, which is our 5 chord in the blues in G, I'm just going to come down. I'm going to start on the top note, just for variety's sake, so it's not the same thing every time. Because what we need is we need the D7 to sound, and I play my pentatonic notes on top of that. How does that sound? I play the D7 again. Oh, there it is. Another D7. And the D7 again. And again the D7. So those were all the notes starting from the top for a G minor pentatonic scale on top of a D7. So now you've heard them all, and I strongly encourage you to try this yourself. You don't need to buy a pedal to do this. There are really good like freeze pedals and hold pedals and stuff like that. But you could just record yourself going and just playing a G7 like that. Then for like, I don't know, 20 seconds or something, and then try your notes. And if you want to go to different keys, of course, you do different chords and try those. But this is the first step for you to hear the notes on top of the chords and start to make sense of them. And then you can, of course, you can go on and you say, okay, I'll play the G7 and I make a little run. I start my pentatonic and I land on different notes. Okay, I went up 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I land on this note and I get a certain sound. I play the G7 again. I'd only do 4 notes. So that I get a feel for it, listening to it. What does this sound like? Let me come down from the top. I landed on the 5th fret G string. How about the 3rd fret G string? Now I run it all the way down from the top to the G here in the middle. And then I can do the same, of course, on the other chords and see what happens if I put a little run and I land on that note. What is different when I land on the next note? This should give you an idea of all the different notes of the pentatonic scale. And we haven't even put that blue note in. How does that sound on the different chords? So this will be the initial idea. Know the chords of the blues. We're doing a blues in G. And hear the different notes that you're playing on top of those when you use the minor pentatonic. I will make you a video right after this one where I just put those sounds of the chords with the hold pedal, and then you can use that video to do your own exercise. There won't be much talking in it. It's just going to be the chords held for you to play over and find what is the quality of that note on top of that chord. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you again.